Is it the right time for you to be buying or selling a home? Don't go it alone. Trust the team at dangemis.com.
I just wanted to say kudos. I thought it. A lot of people are thinking it. You said it.
This is the Dan Gemis Real Estate Show.
Thank you for joining us. Again, if you want a chance to win the Richmond Popcorn Company gift card today, $50, you can text in to win today. The keyword is MOVIE, M-O-V-I-E, with your first and last name, and text it in to 10800. We'll give that away in the next segment, but it's time for our insurance tip of the month with Chris Gibb, our insurance broker professional who joins us every single time. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Very good, Dan. Very good. How about you?
Oh, we're hanging in there. As you know, it's been a difficult couple of days for the family, but everyone is holding up and healthy. So that's the key.
Well, and, it certainly sounds like it was almost a miracle that your in-laws weren't home at the time. So
Yes.
somebody was definitely watching over them.
No kidding. But I'll tell you, Chris, now the task is having to, as you know, deal with the insurance portion of this project, which is not, a fun thing as you're going through all the emotions, right?
Absolutely. This is probably one of the most traumatic things that a person can go through, to have their entire home where you feel safest, to have it just torn away from you in an instant is there's nothing more to say than just it's a tragedy.
Yep, agreed, Chris. Do you have any tips for anyone going through this? Obviously, from an insurance perspective, what are your recommendations? Or I guess not even that, but if someone is at home right now and listening and thinking, "Man, this could happen to me," what are some tips that might help in a case like this, where again you have a house fire and everything is lost?
Well, I mean, tips is it's almost impossible. I mean. Generally, I will say, in my career, I've had a handful of these, we call them, like total loss events. One thing I think that you can expect is you're going to be assigned an adjuster from whatever insurance company your in-laws deal with that is going to, generally it's a more senior adjuster. So, and it's not someone who has 500 files on their desk. So you generally, these are, even though it's a big claim, they're generally not as difficult to settle from a consumer's point of view. Generally every homeowner insurance policy in Ontario has replacement cost coverage, which means that the insurance company is committed to rebuilding as close as possible to what your in-laws had before. And generally on the home, the home portion, that's you don't run into policy limits with that because you've got that guaranteed replacement coverage. You can run into issues with the content. If we sit here and we think of every single item that we have in our home, to go out and have to replace it in a matter of, a year is difficult, because you've taken a lifetime to collect all these things. So it's extremely important to make sure you have the best coverage that's available, because this type of thing doesn't happen to everyone, but it happens to someone, and now it's someone we know. So you have to prepare for an event like this before it happens rather than after.
It's one of those things you never appreciate it till you have to use it, right?
Exactly. I mean, this is a true case of insurance is all about spreading risk, right? The many pay for the losses of the few, and this is one where I've been to your in-laws' house once, but once you consider the house and the contents and everything, this is going to be a 7-figure loss. So, it's a massive amount of money that no one could afford to do on their own. So this is the true use of insurance, is everyone helps pay for these tragic losses for the few that have them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's change topics a little bit.
Just before we do that, I just want to slip my deputy mayor of Amherstburg hat on just for one moment.
Oh my gosh, that's a great idea, Chris. Honestly, yes, you're right.
Because I did want to mention, we're all proud of the first responders that come and help us in these situations. But out in Amherstburg in particular, the vast majority of our firefighters are volunteers. You know, these are people who got out of bed at 1 o'clock in the morning and rushed to help someone else.
Yes.
And I think we all have to recognize that.
You know, Chris, I have to say, I was saying earlier on the show, I was there from 1 o'clock on. This happened around 12:30 in the morning. I got there around 1:20, and obviously it's very it's overwhelming as it's happening, right? You're watching, you know, our in-laws, Nikki's parents' house go up in flames, but to watch these firefighters come in and act as professionally as they it was honestly it was a very prideful moment for me as a resident of Amherstburg, because I knew that the majority, if not the large majority of them, were all volunteers.
Yeah.
And it was just incredible. They couldn't have been more professional, and obviously they saw us on site. We were next door watching this happen. They were helpful, and they really did everything they possibly could have done. It was just incredible, and watching the next crews come in later on in the morning, because this went on for 6-7 hours. It was pretty incredible. So I can't thank them enough for all that they did. Truly.
Yeah, and to think, you know, whatever they had planned for Saturday morning,
yes,
without a second thought, they put it aside to go and help someone in need. So, and it's you know, kind of ironic. We are actually, I forget if it's this Friday or next Friday. I'd have to check my calendar. We're actually having the town's recognition ceremony for all of our firefighters. So it's a great reminder that, you know, there are good people out there who are doing good things and asking for very little in return.
Oh my goodness. Mm-hmm. It's incredible. You know, we were actually talking to some of them that morning, and they were literally leaving to go to their full-time jobs. Wow.
Yeah.
They were leaving the fire to go work.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Exactly. Think about that.
Yeah. They were out there all night with us. So literally, it's
incredible people.
Oh,
yep.
Honestly, truly. Okay. So
let's get back to the insurance talk.
It's making me sad. Okay, so Chris, costs are obviously going up, you know, industry wide. What is happening?
Well, you know, this was supposed to be the big topic of discussion, but now it's kind of been pushed off. But, you know, again, talking about fire, one of the big things we're seeing right now in the industry is these wildfires that are occurring out west in Western North America. And just recently in New Brunswick, they've got massive wildfires in a place that they don't really get those. So I wanted to talk about how that affects the home insurance policy for somebody in Windsor-Essex County. We don't have wildfires here, but you know, it's been a huge issue with climate change that you're hearing about these massive wildfires, so much so that a lot of the major insurance companies in the U.S. are stopped. They're no longer writing new home insurance policies in California.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. State Farm has made that decision. Allstate recently made that decision that there's just so many wildfires out there that they just can't insure homes anymore until things change. So the reason this relates to, you know, we just had an interesting conversation about your own home insurance renewal. Is insurance companies buy what's called reinsurance. So just like you buy home insurance to transfer the risk of a major loss from yourself to the insurance companies will buy insurance from global reinsurance companies, and when there's massive claims, they can, you know, they don't bear the burden of the entire bill.
So they're insuring their insurance bucket.
Exactly.
Crazy.
It's all about transferring risk to someone else. So, you know, when you hear about a wildfire in Alberta, a flood in Vancouver, you know, fires in France or anywhere in the world, all these costs, all these insured losses get trickle down into the system, and everybody has to pay a little bit to cover their risk.
Sure.
And to see how it's been affecting home insurance rates, there was just a study released Over the last 10 years in Ontario, house insurance has gone up about 63%. Where if you look at Alberta, the cost of insuring similar houses has gone up over 130% in the last 10 years.
Jeez.
And again, that's their added risk of wildfires and massive hailstorms and things like that.
Well, I'm speechless. Like, again, it makes sense. Like, they have to cover their costs, you know?
Yeah. Like, 3 of the largest insured catastrophes in Canadian history happened in the last 10 years. So you can see that these climate change events are causing massive losses when you have, you think of Fort McMurray, Alberta, where the entire city burned down. But every year you're getting these massive claims.
I can't imagine how, we were saying this yesterday as we're standing at this house, the pile of rubble, right? Like, literally, we can't imagine when it happens, these forest fires where you're losing entire communities.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
how do you even
Where do you start?
Yeah, think of how devastating that was just to have one house with such an issue. Now imagine it's your entire community. And again, to circle this back to the firefighters again, sometimes they have to go and fight fires and their own homes are burning down. There's stories of that out in New Brunswick because they're relatively, smaller towns. And these people have to put aside their concerns and go help someone else. So it's truly a situation that we have to get a handle on this. I think it's going to come to the point where the government's going to have to step in, and if you're going to build in an area that's subject to wildfire risk, you're going to have to, maybe no more wooden houses. They'll have to be concrete. You'll have to have steel roofs. Cut back the vegetation from close to your house. So there's going to have to be some change.
And then what do you do if, again, like you said, if these insurance companies are pulling off their policies? Like, how do you have to get your house insured? What do you do?
Well,
you can't not have insurance.
The thing, that's the issue we have. In Canada, you cannot get a mortgage without insurance. Right. So all of a sudden, you have people. If you can't insure the risk, you can't get a mortgage to purchase the property.
Well, I guess something similar would be in our area. A lot of insurance companies are shying away from from basement issues, right? From basement flooding.
Yeah. You've got situations where there's certain areas of Windsor and Essex County where you can't get flood insurance or you can't get adequate sewer backup insurance. And, I could see the day coming where it can affect your ability to get a mortgage because your mortgage company will say, well, no, we don't want to insure a house where you can't insure your basement. So it could become a much bigger issue.
Chris, are you seeing the same trend with auto insurance rates? Are they going up as well?
Auto insurance rates are well, I mean, it seems like insurance rates are always going up, right? I don't know if I've ever spoken to you and told you about how they're going down. I mean, auto insurance is a little bit of a different story. Vehicles are just so complicated these days to repair. I can remember the day where changing out a windshield was a $50 job. Well, now on a new vehicle, if you have to replace the windshield, it costs more to recalibrate all the electronics that are in your rearview mirror. Like your headlight display and your advanced brake warnings and all those things. That actually changing the windshield is the cheap part. It's the expensive part of recalibrating and making sure that all those sensors in your rearview mirror are working properly. So think of it, if you have to replace a bumper on your vehicle, there's thousands of dollars worth of those backup sensors.
Jeez.
And these cars, they aren't vehicles anymore. They're rolling computers.
Yeah, they truly are. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rolling plastic computers.
So true.
And they're not even, I had this conversation with someone just this week. He was talking about, well, maybe his car was in an accident and he wanted to know about getting it repaired and the insurance company was writing it off. And he says, well, it's not that much damage. But I said, if they have to guarantee the work, you don't want that car back. They're not made to be repaired anymore.
Interesting.
They're like a phone. They're made to be replaced. So
Yep.
that's
So
a
sad.
huge cost.
Sad, but it's true. Mm-hmm. It's sad, but it's true.
Yeah. That's
All right,
just
Chris.
the way the world is.
Oh, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Well, listen, thank you for the amazing tips today. We appreciate it as always. And keep up the great work as Deputy Mayor of Amherstburg. You're doing a great job. And it's keep at it. And I know it's been there's been some big topics at council meetings over the last couple of months that you guys have had to tackle. And no one said it was an easy job, but someone's got to
no
do
one
it.
said it was an easy job, but you know what, Dan? This town is this is our time. We've got a lot of growth coming, a lot of excitement coming, a lot of plans in place to bring new jobs to the area. So we're definitely, the future is looking good for Amherstburg and the rest of Windsor and Essex County.
I love it. I love it. Chris Gibb, thank you as always. Appreciate it.
You got it. Have a great day.
You too. It's Chris Gibb with Gibb Insurance Brokers. If you have any questions, reach out to his team. And Chris, are you still there? Oh, he's not. He's off. Okay. You know what? I will get you his. I meant to get you. So Gibb Insurance. I'm sorry, I forgot to ask him about his first contact info. Give me a sec here. Gibb Insurance. I want to find it for you. Gibbinsurance.ca is the web address. Gibbinsurance.ca. You can reach out to the office as well at 519-736-8228. 736-8228. He services all of Windsor and Essex County. Okay. Lots more to come. We're going to come back and give away the popcorn gift card for the Richmond Popcorn Company. If you want a chance to win, you can still sneak in there. Text us with the keyword MOVIE, MOVIE, with your first and last name to 10800. Okay. Lots more to come right here on the Dan Gemis Real Estate Show.